Diseases can be transmitted from animals to people in a variety of ways. 3 common ways diseases are transmitted are by the fecal-oral route, inhalation, and by direct contact. Fecal-oral transmission occurs when people consume food or water that is contaminated with fecal material. The diseases that result from pathogen transmitted via this route are often called enteric diseases. A person may be exposed to pathogens that can cause enteric disease in a number of ways, including having fecal material on his hands and not washing his hands before he eats, drinking untreated water, or consuming certain foods raw or undercooked. Some livestock species and poultry are reservoirs for certain enteric pathogens. It's important to remember that even microscopic amounts of fecal material can cause illness. An example of a pathogen that can be spread via the fecal-oral route is Cryptosporidia, a micrograph of which is included in this slide. The Cryptosporidia organisms are stained red. Other examples of pathogens that can be transmitted via the fecal-oral route are the bacteria Campylobacter and Salmonella. Diseases transmitted by inhalation or respiratory-acquired zoonotic diseases are usually caused by pathogens associated with droplets or aerosols that are breathed in. Droplets or aerosols are frequently produced when sneezing or coughing, which can enhance the dispersal and survival in the environment of the pathogen. Pathogens may also be aerosolized if an environment is contaminated and environmental conditions are favorable for the dispersal of that pathogen in the air. A good example of a pathogen that may be aerosolized under dry, windy conditions is Coxiella burnettii, the organism that causes Q fever. Cattle, sheep, and goats serve as reservoirs for Coxiella burnettii. Another example of a pathogen spread via inhalation is influenza. While any strain of the influenza virus can be transmitted by inhalation, and many animals can become infected with influenza, it is the strains associated with swine and birds that are of concern from a zoonotic disease perspective. Direct contact transmission occurs when a person directly touches a diseased animal or its body fluids or comes in contact with a contaminated object. Wounds and mucous membranes associated with the eyes, nose, and mouth are typically more vulnerable than intact skin and serve as good portals of entry for pathogens. Anthrax and ringworm often form lesions where direct contact occurs. Bites can introduce a variety of pathogens, including rabies. Pictured is the rabies virus as seen through an electron microscope. The blue arrows are pointing to individual rabies virus particles.